stay a while and listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross. I am joined today, as pretty much every day that we have done a podcast, by the man who puts eggs in his Raisin Bran, Saul.
Yes. And by the way, I don't do that. That'd be disgusting.
You're telling a fib. So before the show, I hear what sounds to me like cereal. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is that cereal? And he's like, well, with eggs. I was like, what? And then he proceeded to tell me how he will take his Raisin Bran with milk and then heat it up and then poach an egg in the boiling milk, and thought it's weird that I don't eat that.
See, I don't, I have never liked Raisin Bran, ever.
Well, yeah, because you're eating it with eggs. I wouldn't like it either.
No, but, yeah, like, the only cereal that I like is, the Kellogg Flakes with vanilla in it.
Like the Frosted Flakes or just the regular flakes?
Well, it's, it might not be Kellogg's. I don't know. It looks like Frosted Flakes, but then it has like little almonds in it, and it tastes like vanilla. I think it's.
But you
I think it's.
You put the vanilla, like it naturally has like vanilla in it, or you're putting like vanilla extract in the milk?
Well, the company put, I guess,
Okay.
the vanilla extract on the flakes, and then as you pour the milk on it.
I don't know if I've ever had or seen that one, but I could see where it would be good.
Oh, you have seen it. I'm going to take a picture of it today. I'm going to send it to you. It's
I genuinely thought though, you're like, oh, with vanilla, and then for some reason, I just assumed like sitting there adding like vanilla extract to your cereal.
No, that'd be weird.
I mean, it would be a lot of work. You'd have to be real careful to not overdo it. Also, if you're using like true vanilla extract, it'll get you drunk.
Yeah. And then see, I like Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
But Captain Crunch like messes up my mouth after I get done eating it. So
yeah, I think we've talked about that one before. Like, I use like the 1.5-minute rule with my Captain Crunch.
Okay.
Where put the Captain Crunch in the bowl, pour the milk,
So does it fit?
I leave it sit for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Then I kind of stir it up, so some of it is a little bit soft.
Yeah.
It'll still get you if you eat more than a couple bowls, but
Not me. See, I just pour it in the bowl, pour some milk on it, and then I start eating it right away. So like the first couple bites, it's like you're eating pebbles and like rocks,
sandpaper. Like rocks
up,
covered in sandpaper.
It just screws up the top of your mouth, and then as you get closer to the end, it starts getting a little bit more easier to eat because milk has softened.
Yes. What you need to do is you need to pour the cereal first, and then do whatever else you're doing to get ready, and try to buy yourself some time.
Sure.
The cereal, man. I had hotcakes from McDonald's this morning.
Okay.
I don't know how. Now, I'm basing this on when I worked at McDonald's back in 1994, knowing how they did breakfast. I don't know how you mess up the hotcakes as bad as they got messed up in my order. But
Okay.
you know how you'll get like a hamburger that's crispy on the edge?
Yes.
Those were my hotcakes, except instead of crispy, they're rocks.
Yeah.
Like they like obliterated the edge, but the center was still fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Now I will say that McDonald's, out of all the restaurants I've eaten at, has the best biscuits and gravy. I've not had it, no matter where. I mean, I don't know any other place that has good biscuits and gravy. McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of their biscuits and gravy. Or let me rephrase that. It is very difficult to make biscuits and gravy, if you like them, to me are about the same as pizza. You can make not the best biscuits and gravy, but they're still edible. I prefer
Sure.
like the brown gravy,
Okay.
and I think slightly runnier gravy than what McDonald's typically is. My big
Okay.
issue with McDonald's biscuits and gravy is the lack of consistency on their biscuit. Because
Okay.
sometimes you will get their biscuits where it's fresh and it's flaky and soft, and sometimes you get a rock. And
Sure.
there's no telling when. So I don't know. I prefer to just buy like the Bob Evans packet gravy and just do
Yeah, I
biscuits.
like
Like I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Which there's currently a shortage of Bob Evans gravy at grocery stores, based on my
Really?
area. We got a Kroger, we got a Meijer, we got other Krogers. Like there's like 4 Krogers that I can go to and 1 Meijer's. None of them have the Bob Evans gravy to purchase.
See, I think Bob Evans gravy is disgusting. So I don't know why but that's just me. Though.
It's the brown gravy, like different strokes.
See, my great grandma had like the best brown gravy,
Yeah,
and I loved it when she cooked it, and now sadly because she died like 10 years ago, it has lost. It's been lost and for time.
Did
I will
no
never
one
have that
have the
brown gravy.
recipe, or did
Well, no one else in the family can cook like she could. So,
right? But like,
well, she was from the country,
yeah,
and country people they just have ability to cook breakfast. I don't know what it is.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even like my grandpa that kind of raised me, he could do like his dinner cooking skills were dreadful, but he could make like good breakfast stuff.
Sure.
But like dinner, it'd be like, here's your salmon patty, but it's made out of tuna, but I'm still going to call it a salmon patty. It's burnt. Or here's some pork chops. They're burnt. Hey, I made some hamburger.
Well,
It's burnt.
it sounds like I would like your grandpa's cooking.
Probably. Everything had that nice black crust to it. Now, it was still
That's
good
awesome.
because he fried everything in grease. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously going to be good, but holy, like,
Yeah.
yeah. But breakfast was like, oh, wow, how is it you know what you're doing here? And, like, did you guys just not care because you were tired from, like, working on the tobacco farm? So, like, dinner food was just like, I just need some meat. Just
Sure.
cook it until it stops bleeding or something, and I'll eat it. Whereas
Sure.
breakfast, they were like rested and ready to go, and actually had taste buds still.
Could be.
I don't know. So, well, now that we've got the food discussion for the episode out of the way, any craziness during the week?
Any craziness. I sent you a picture at the beginning of the week, or maybe middle of the week, of those dill pickled flaming hot chips.
Yeah, which sound awful.
Oh yeah, I was like, and that's why I took a picture of them and sent it to you because I know you like, I know you appreciate stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't buy them because I don't like dill pickle chips anyway.
Right.
But
Let alone flaming
yeah.
hot.
yeah, I was
This
like,
is
that just
real
sounds,
quick. This is Lay's, by the way. I don't think that
Yeah.
that is a surprise to anyone.
I don't. I'm just like, that's a bad combination in my mind. I just don't know who would want flaming hot dill pickles.
I don't like. I like the pickle brine on certain things, like chicken sandwiches, is good.
Yeah.
But I've never eaten a pickle and been like, yeah, that's it. Like, just
Sure.
never happened.
And see what else? Because we're supposed to get another big snowstorm. I guess coming up here next week in
Yeah.
our area. I was looking for some salt, and of course, everyone bought the salt. You know, so I go back and get some water softener salt
Yeah.
because I mean it works just as good. It's salt. I mean,
Right.
It is. And we were buying it, and the cashier tells me, he's like, "No, this doesn't do that good of a job on." No, you know that, right? I was like, "Well, it's salt." I was like, I mean, it does what I need it to do because I don't put a lot on it anyway because I have dogs.
Yeah.
I don't really like to track that stuff in, and it might be actually a little bit healthier for water salt, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know. I just thought it was
that
funny,
I don't know.
Everybody.
I always get or I try to, the salt that's like pet safe or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't, and I'm kind of like you, like I don't use a ton of it, but
Yeah.
I have faith that it actually is pet salt or safe.
Well, it's funny. It's funny, at least in our area. It seems like when it gets February, and this winter has really been kind of lame up until this last 2 weeks, I would say. We really haven't had a lot of snow and cold and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like in our area, at least, there's like, all right, well, let's get rid of all this snow stuff and bring in the spring stuff. Because I was starting to sing more like shorts and like yard, like furniture and everything else outdoors. And I'm like, all the salt, it's February. I'm like, it still can snow up until, April in our area.
No. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, I know.
Much like your seasonal clothing changes over. Like, because if you need to buy a jacket now, well, I'm sorry. You should have been thinking summertime to buy your jacket for winter.
August.
Yeah.
Yeah. You buy your winter jacket in August.
Like, because now we've moved on to spring. And unless you want a Carhartt jacket, that's it. Because those are year-round, apparently.
It's weird. I don't understand that.
I was trying to look for pet safe salt. See, like I guess it's like it's not actually a salt. Like it was developed with vets, like less chloride or something. But that's the difference. In case it like something to that effect. There's way more to it than that, but that's just like basically it's a different chemical composition. Is what it sounds like. So because I just funny. Because I normally wouldn't do this. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just take their word for it that this is pet safe. Like,
I did see somebody walking their dog a couple days ago, and so the dog stopped to like sniff. I don't know, that's something.
Yeah.
And the guy jerked on the chain so hard, the dog about was pulled up in midair because the guy jerked it so hard. I wanted to get out and punch the guy right in the face.
Yeah.
Other than that,
yeah, because like it's not like tugging them away. It's like whiplash.
Yeah, I felt like saying, let me wrap the chain around your neck and then
right.
you as hard as you want the dog. See if you like that.
Yeah, like unless you like see like a cobra pop its head up from where it like something that it's like but yeah, I get I don't know. We don't actually. So my neighborhood is not the best. But for the most part, the people with dogs treat them pretty good.
Yeah.
As it is now, we had some people that like they left their dog out like in all weather, and that kind of bothered me. Now one of them had a husky, and the husky stayed outside all the time.
Well, they like that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is though, it was weird. It was summertime though. I was like, I know they have air conditioner. I feel like the husky would probably rather be in the air conditioning than the sun, but I don't really know. But that one, it always seemed a little bit weird to me. But
like our next door neighbors leave their chihuahuas out like right now in this type of weather. I was like, chihuahuas are not made for this type of weather.
No. Well, two of our dogs are part Chihuahua, and I wouldn't. Now we'll occasionally have hawks in our neighborhood.
Well, yeah.
So I'm like, our dogs are small enough that unless I'm kind of keeping an eye on them, they don't stay outside for super long.
Yeah.
And the one, because we got the Chinese crested hairless, she looks more like a rodent, I'm sure, to a bird of prey. So she's kept very close under watch.
Sure.
You always read the stories where like they have like the big condors where if you go up to the nest, you just find like all these like animal collars. It's like, yeah, that's depressing.
Sure. I don't have that problem with my dogs. It would take a pterodactyl to get some of my dogs, though.
Well, just wait. I've seen some documentaries about dinosaurs being brought back. So,
yes.
So,
you want to get right into the canceled Disney?
Yeah. Before we get into that, like the actual show stuff. So I am changing jobs. So there is a possibility in the next week or two. I don't think we will. There might be a missed show. Or it'll just be like a real old episode. We'll just put something up from like one of the Bigfoot episodes or something like that. Now we're going to try not to have that happen, but there is a small chance that that'll be the case. And we might end up like, if you're catching us for like really it's AEW stuff most of the time, that might be something that has to become every other week that we do that, and then we just talk about other stuff in between. So just to kind of put that out there in case that is what happens due to my scheduling, don't want people to be like, oh my god, I can't believe that all of a sudden this happened. So try to be upfront about it.
If you guys have a problem with it, it's Ross's fault. So you get to pretty much
yes,
let him know.
And you can do that by using our Twitter at the AOP podcast.
But if for the past 10 years or so, yeah. if the trend continues, I probably will be joining Ross at his job.
Yes, somehow.
So I don't know why. I don't know why it works out like that. But for the past 10 years, it seems like we kind of follow each other.
Well, or you're going to be changing jobs one way or the other, like whether.
Sure.
It's basically like, oh, time to change jobs. I will just recommend don't go into insurance. It's quite terrible.
Usually when I lose my friends, I'm just like, it's time for me to move on.
Right. Like, it'll never be the same.
Time for me to make new friends at somewhere else.
Yeah, work friends are hard.
Wait, I've worked at a lot of places, and every place that I've worked at, you get a good group of guys, or whatever, a good group of people that you work with. And everyone gets along, and everything's smoothly, but the management don't like it. Because there's too much talking and too much joking around.
Yeah.
But the job gets done and everything. But for whatever reason, the management wants to shake things up. And they start making policies, and it pisses people off. And then people start leaving. And then the whole dynamic just changes.
Well, and then less work gets done.
Yep. And then people start quitting, and then eventually, within the whatever, when the new policies take place, the whole crew that you liked disappeared.
Yep, and then it's time to go.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna put this under TV film stuff. So here we go.
Maybe I could move the Earth out of the way. If we had a week, I couldn't list all the reasons that might work.
King Shark is a shark.
Not the beast!
Let's rock.
You know, it's funny, anytime I think about making a new bumper, it basically goes to superhero stuff or wrestling stuff for the sound bites, because I'm more familiar with it.
Yeah.
I think that's very telling of what I enjoy as entertainment, which I mean is based on 90% of the stuff we talk about on the show, one way or the other. I mean, it's not a surprise. But so this week, is it Gina? How is her name pronounced? I'm horrible with it.
Karana?
Right.
Garana?
Basically, she managed to get herself removed from her Disney job on Mandalorian. Basically said some stuff regardless of whether you agree with it, disagree with it, whatever. We've pretty much seen, like, Disney, if you aren't on what Disney wants, they kind of get rid of you.
Yes.
I mean, I think that I think is a fair statement.
Yes.
So I'm assuming this is where Cancel Disney started trending.
Yeah.
Like people,
but actually, it should have started happening like last year.
Yes, because we're not going to be talking, like, we have to mention that because that kind of brought what's going up. But we have the actual problem.
Well, and to sum up the whole Gina thing, it sucks because I actually liked her as a character.
Yeah.
Because she's legitimately a badass.
Yeah.
She could probably. Well, there's no problem with it. She probably could beat everyone up on the
show.
The yes. So, whatever. I don't understand why they would get rid of her. But I mean, it is what it is. It's
Right.
their decision. But don't cancel Disney. I don't know if you have the Disney app.
We had it briefly,
Okay.
but I never navigated it. Well, I navigated it to Mandalorian,
Yes.
which was on the front thing, so I basically just turned it on and hit the button. So I have Apple TV. Now, my wife used it for some other stuff.
Yeah.
So I have not experienced what you're going to bring up here.
So I was going to cancel Disney Plus regardless because they did something that I hate. They auto renewed me back in November, and I hate that. I hate because Xbox did that to me, and they auto renewed my because I made the cardinal mistake of
Using a
putting my
card?
credit card.
Yep.
Yes. And so I was already getting ready to cancel Disney anyway because of that. And then the whole Gina thing happened. I was like, you know what? I'm just tired of their I'm tired of their bull crap. But the main thing that I have with Disney Plus, their interface. I don't know how a multi-million-dollar company can make an interface so bad. It is terrible.
So I haven't experienced the Disney one.
Yeah.
So I'll ask some questions, but I'm going to give my experience. So, like, WWE Network, their app is equally terrible to me.
I agree. I agree with that, yeah.
There was a period of time where, like, whatever was, like, actually just playing technically live was a lot easier to get to. The last few times I've tried to pull it up to watch one of, like, the pay-per-views, like, I've had to navigate to it. It's like, well, this is difficult. The search function has always been awful.
Yes.
Like, I remember... Now, they improved it. They did, like, a revamp a while ago, and it got a little bit better. But before that, like, you would search for, say, like, an individual wrestler trying to find their matches or promos or whatever. You put in, like, whoever, Shawn Michaels. And you would get, like, the most nonsensical list of stuff. And it'd be like... It wouldn't... Obviously, you're probably looking for this wrestler in their matches, but they wouldn't be organized in any way. It would give you, like, 30-second appearances before a commercial break, but that's all it would play. Like, it was just awful. Trying to search for anything by, like, keyword was dreadful. Honestly, I kind of don't, like... So they're one of the worst ones I've experienced, like, routinely. I'm horrified to think of how Peacock is going to make it work. Like, I may not even deal with signing up for that, honestly. And then, let's see. Netflix is okay.
Yeah.
But I still don't like it. I always feel like I'm missing things due to the suggestions it gives or whatever.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's just like an interface, like, whoever's designing the interfaces, like, there's got to be a better way.
Well, in Disney Plus, dude, like, at least with me, and it's not my internet connection, because my internet connection is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching it, like, around, like, 8 o'clock around our area, I think that's when California is, like, its peak, I guess.
Right.
I cannot watch Disney Plus at all. It like, shuts down every time.
Like, does it do, like, a ton of buffering, or it just crashes?
Yeah, it'll buffer a couple times, and then it just locks up. I'm just like...
I had that, we're using the CBS app, or I don't know how we have it, but we have it, for the Super Bowl. And I ran into that with the Super Bowl, where just all of us, like, the first, like, few minutes of the game was fine. And then my assumption is just everybody was tuning in, and I don't know if it was a strain on the CBS side or just the local internet company, because nowadays, like, it seems like this year probably more than even last, pretty much everyone is probably watching it through some kind of, like, internet service, so you're just getting internet's getting bombarded. So I don't know if that's what was making it bad, but the CBS app, I think, is just a bad app, because it always seems to be very slow.
The best one I've seen so far that I've actually used is HBO Max.
Yeah.
Because we got it. We got the 6 months because of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
'Cause we-
Oh yeah.
the way we had it.
No, I was just
Oh,
laughing
no.
that you got suckered into that.
Well, the way we figured it up, it was if we went to the movie theater we want. It was ridiculously high. I said, well, I could just get the HBO Max for 6 months for almost the same price.
Yeah.
So that's how we justified it.
Right, and then you were like, "Man, I can't believe that I paid money for Wonder Woman."
Yeah. But in any case, that's another thing.
What's that?
But HBO Max.
Yeah.
But yeah, HBO Max, I don't have any kind of problems with that. They are really good at because they have one thing for DC.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of DC animated movies. Yeah, I mean it's organized very well.
Whatever happened? Where they were going to do the DC Universe app?
I don't know. Remember we actually tried to look into
Yes.
it, and it was impossible.
Yeah, like
I
the
don't
website.
know.
Like either we are both. I feel like I'm at least okay at navigating websites.
Yes.
Getting information on that site was awful.
Yeah, so I don't know if it ever happened or not. To be honest with you,
They probably were like, let's just get somebody else to do it for us. Hey,
we'll just do the HBO Max.
I mean, if that's what they decide, that's a way better decision.
Sure.
So with the Disney, so you have like the 8 o'clock, so like a prime viewing time where it just bogs down every time.
Yeah.
Does the search function not give you results like you would expect, or is it just like the whole thing of navigating it is just awful?
Yeah. The search function is terrible too.
So like, say you search for Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, does it give you like all the Avengers stuff and that, or does it just not show everything?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think it does a fairly good job as far as that goes. If you know what you're looking for, like, okay, I want to watch Iron Man.
Yeah.
But I was like looking at for Toy Story, their holiday Toy Story short clip that they made there in one of the holidays, and I could not find it at all.
Yeah, which
And then,
should be on there.
I mean, it's Disney,
Right.
Now the only thing I could think of why I didn't have it is because maybe it was out somewhere, like another network or something had it, and Disney couldn't get it on their Disney Plus. But
That seems unlikely.
sure,
Because Disney is pretty much like ironclad on everything now.
sure.
Like, I just can't imagine them not having it. Now, if you're just like trying to browse through it, like through different categories, does that work okay, or is it just doesn't seem intuitive?
It's I don't know, man. Like if you go to Marvel DC,
Yeah.
you would think that you would have like the Iron Man collection, or the I don't know, the Avengers collection. It's just like there's a bunch of movies threw up there and you have to scroll through it to find the ones you want. There's no way to say, okay, Thor, bam, or they could have made like a little they could have made like a little icon of Thor, and you click on it, and then bam, it shows all
Anything
the
that
movies
Thor was
and-
in chronological order.
Hell yeah, it's just thrown up there. Right? I'm just like, you guys did a terrible job at.
I wonder. So I'm gonna try to figure out here, because Apple TV has possibly, and I'm talking like the slightly newer Apple TV. There's like an old version where the remote control, they've tried to oversimplify it, but the old one had like a circle, I think it was, that had like you could feel the buttons for like how to move your cursor or whatever. The newer one is basically like a little touchpad it's like a touch screen that you got to move it around, and it's terrible. What do you have, like a Roku or a Fire Stick or
A Roku?
how's the remote for it? Is it like a traditional remote, or does it have like a touch screen, or
It's like a little skinny remote, and this has home and arrows.
arrows to move around?
And,
I wonder. What I'm wondering is if for some reason, so we're more PC users. So I'm used to like navigating stuff with like a mouse and a keyboard.
Sure.
The remote control frustrates me to no end.
Yeah.
Because like trying to type something in, you got like it takes 1,000 hours.
Sure.
I wonder if some of the design of some of these apps are trying to make it manageable on these super awful remotes, and that hurts it. Because I assume if you're on like a website, it might be easier to, like say like your TV app, like just on the browser, if it might be easier to find what you want. Yeah. But it's like, if I'm searching for something, it's like, okay, I got to make sure to spell it right, and I'm going to try to spell the shortest word possible to get what I'm looking for, because it's going to take me an hour.
Okay, so I'm on the Disney Plus app right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to search.
Like on a computer?
I'm on the computer. So give me something. Anything Disney related.
Let's do. Oh, I'm panicking. Headless Horseman.
All right.
I played the Headless Horseman laugh. I'm so proud of myself. We have wild animals barking outside. They sound like very big dogs.
Headless Horseman. Now I know they had the one Disney cartoon, Ichabod Crane and everything. Okay?
Yeah.
You think that they would show that? I have Hannah Montana.
What?
Herbie the Love Bug. Home Alone. Hocus Pocus. Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. Hello, Dolly.
No, wait. Disney Headless Horseman. Why? So try searching Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. All right. Halloween Town, Halloween Town, Halloween Town, The Revenge. Return to Halloween Town, Halloween House Party.
Try Ichabod. And that is ICHABOD.
Okay. I got The Ice Princess. Mickey Mouse on Ice. Okay, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Okay, but so here's my question: how many people? I forgot that it was called Ichabod and Mr. Toad or whatever. I would just search for Headless Horseman, but Headless Horseman or Sleepy Hollow doesn't bring this up.
Yes,
that seems incorrect. Well, I know technically Sleepy Hollow was a different movie. I think that was the live action one or whatever. But clearly they can tag that as a keyword search, I would think.
I would assume, so if you click on Marvel.
Yeah. So
that gives me a list. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. First thing to show, WandaVision. Well, why would that's a series. That's not even a movie. Then Avengers
but it's
Endgame.
still Marvel.
Okay, but here's the order. WandaVision, Avengers Endgame, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, and Wasp.
Right. That's it?
Well, no, then you can scroll.
Okay.
You can scroll, so... Yeah, so that gives you Avengers, Infinity War, Black Panther, Thor. But they're not in order. Now, if you go down, it says Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1.
Yeah.
So it goes Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, that's how it came out.
Yeah.
Avengers. Then Phase 2, Iron Man 3, Thor. I don't know. It just...
Yeah, well, because I understand them doing WandaVision at the top, just because that's the new thing that they're pushing. So obviously they're just going to shove that everywhere they can.
I get it.
What happens if you... So go back to your search like where we were doing the headless horse. Just put Iron Man in and see what comes up on that search.
Iron Man. So Iron Man versus the Hulk.
Is that like the anime?
Iron Man, Captain America, Heroes United. Iron Man, the cartoon. Iron Man, the Armored Adventures.
Does it give you... Wait, it doesn't give you any of the movies?
No.
What?
Yeah.
What?
They're...
Okay, yeah. So, all right. The reason I was asking, like, I mean, obviously I'm not seeing it.
Wait. So if you hit a space, because I did Iron Man as one word.
Right.
So Iron Man, if you Iron and Man, you
Yes.
do the movie. Iron Man 1, Iron Man versus Hulk.
So, but
Iron Man 2.
But they know people are going to not put the space in there.
Mandalorian's in here for some reason. Iron Will. it's a Snow Dog movie.
Right. But like all the Iron Man stuff shows up. It's just there's a bunch of other junk thrown in there.
Yeah, so there is other Iron. So I would have it where the Iron Man movies are the first thing that show up.
Well, you would think. Well, you think you would also have search that shows up Iron Man or Iron Spaceman.
Sure.
Just because, like,
Sure. Yeah.
why would you not have it that way?
They have every movie that he's in, but it's not. It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
That'd be like, like you could search for like having a grocery store, search for banana, but you spelled it slightly wrong because banana's sneaky, and they just don't have it set up to where like you have to spell banana right, or they're like, nope, we don't sell that.
Sure.
Like, did I spell it wrong? I don't know. Like, yeah, that's because again, like you're saying, like Disney is quite the large company. You would think they would have somebody who could make that work.
You would.
And I'm not saying like every pot, like if someone's using like the metal symbol for Iron Man, like FE Man, like I'm not expecting them to have that like as part of the search. Maybe because it's cute they would, but you would think Iron Man versus Iron Spaceman, like.
Yeah, so unless somebody didn't know anything about Metal Man, so Metal Man, I got heavy metal meter or Mater from Cars.
Good old Mater.
Mandalorian, Man versus Shark, Man in Space, Man versus Cheetah. Well, I knew who's going to win that battle. Pirates versus Pirates of the Caribbean.
Huh. You know what would be interesting to see?
Yeah.
Man versus Mater.
Yes.
I don't know how you make that one work, but
Anyway,
yeah.
we suspected that Mandalorian was going to get crappy with second season anyway, because that's just
what happens. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they could easily. So, for health of the show, like skipping to health of the show, I guess. I'm always suspicious at this point in life of a third season anyway.
Sure.
They can just not have her in it
Yeah.
and explain it away. Like, her character is a good character to have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there were plenty of episodes where she wasn't involved that were fine.
Sure.
So, it just depends on how they decide to handle it. Now, if they come, if it's like, season 3... Yeah, that's too bad. Her X-Wing blew up, and then that's the end. Like,
Yes.
all right, be like, because who was it?
Simpson.
Charlie Sheen. We're like, yeah, he drove his car off a cliff.
Well, Simpsons did it with Poochie. Remember, they brought Poochie in,
Oh yeah,
and they're like, and he died or whatever.
Yep.
So you could do it in a comical way, sure, but I think it would change the show.
yeah. I mean, it would be probably better that like, oh, she went to some faraway galaxy.
See, I would tell her. Here's how I would have handled it. Be like, all right, well, we don't agree with you. We don't agree with your viewpoints on stuff. So we're going to cancel your contract. But we would like to at least to make the show make sense, since you are, in this universe where things die. Can we have you in it for at least an episode or two to where we kill you off? And then
Right.
that's it. That's how I would have handled it.
Or make you go away, and maybe one day we can come to terms.
Sure. Oh, yeah, whatever. I mean,
Something.
you could have her, like, killed by stormtroopers, or like you said, like, go off on a way mission to
On an adventure.
for
She finds a baby version of Bosk, the bounty hunter,
yes.
because that might actually
So what-
work. Baby reptile.
I don't know. There's ways they could have did it to where they're just gonna have to like do it off screen, and it's like okay.
Yeah.
Everyone knows why she's not there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they can. I'm going to say if the show is bad in season 3,
Yeah.
she's not going to make a difference one way or the other. Like, they're either going to have a good season, or they've already tanked it.
Well, the problem is, I already suspected it was going to get bad because it's very popular. And when things get very popular, especially with that Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Star Wars, I don't have any hope.
I mean, you have to give her credit for Mandalorian being good.
No, that's not her. That's the director and the writer of it.
I mean, she's still smart enough to not be involved to make it good when she could have been
right
involved.
now, right now she's not involved because she's like, no one's gonna. This is just it may take off and may. Oh wait, it's taking off. Let me get my little grubby little hands into it.
Time to get some fingerprints.
What happened to Arrow? Arrow was good until like, oh hey, let's start putting our little hands in there, putting stuff in there that makes no sense whatsoever.
Be like, oh, they were doing real good with that Suicide Squad they were building up. You know what would be a good thing to do? Let's steal that from them. Even though
You
they
know
already
what
have
would
the
make
whole
this-
season written.
You know what would make this even better? Let's make it Felicity and Friends, and let's turn it into a love triangle. That's what people want to watch.
Yeah, I wish that. I hate the love stories that get overly complicated. Especially, the most frustrating thing to me about the Arrow one is that all Oliver ever had to do was tell the truth. Like, at any moment,
Yeah.
the world would have been so much easier. Or better yet, it's not even necessarily tell the truth. Just tell the people that are theoretically his partners what's going on.
Yeah. Sure.
Like, even telling them like a half truth would have made so much more sense than, well, I'm just not going to say anything about this, and hopefully it'll just all blow over. You know,
Sure.
the part where the person's figured out my identity and they've threatened to kill everyone. I'm just not going to mention that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, well.
But yeah, so I think, Disney. So it sounds like their app is terrible. There needs to be someone to figure out better user interface for some of these apps. Hopefully, when we get
YouTube?
back to a cable TV app, because
The YouTube app,
Yeah.
it works perfectly, and it's free. So
yeah, I do like the YouTube app. I wish it wouldn't ask me if I wanted to do YouTube Premium so much.
well, sure.
And if I could get maybe one or two less Raid Shadow Legends ads, that'd be good too. I'd like that.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you the amount of times like some of the apps I have access to that I just don't open because I don't want to deal with navigating them. So,
Sure.
and they're charging you money. Like, we'll go like through trials or whatever, and it's just like, oh, this sucks. Like Hulu, I was never really impressed by. Netflix, if Kathy didn't watch it, there's about zero chance that I would pay for Netflix at this point. Except like maybe once a year I'd get a month of it to catch up on Castlevania or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I think I got my money's worth out of Netflix by watching The Office, which The Office is off of it now. But
Yes. But if you pay a bunch of money to Peacock, where you will still see advertising. Apparently, you know.
I have other ways. I sail the seven seas. For,
Yes,
I
am on the. I dabble in that, but I'm definitely getting on the verge of doing that, because if you're going to start taking everything off like a centralized streaming thing, to where for me to watch what I want, I got to have 4 or 5 apps. Well, that's just cable TV with extra steps. So now you're not getting any money from me.
So now my new master will be Blackbeard,
Yeah.
and he will give me everything I want.
Or Barbosa. I could see Barbosa.
Yeah.
All right. So we got that out of the way. I want to talk about some video game stuff real quick, actually.
Go ahead.
Probably won't take a ton of time, but let's do this.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right. So, quick World of Warcraft update. I'm still playing. We are closer.
Which is quite impressive.
Yes, we are closer to the next patch than we are away from it. It sounds like, and I'm still fairly engaged in playing. So, still doing my dailies. Still doing like just normal tooling around. I don't know. You're still playing?
Yeah. So I
Now, you've been trying to level one of every class and
yes,
in every
which
race.
is the best idea.
You have one server dedicated to demon hunters, one server dedicated to monks.
Well, with the whole the panic attack had to be at the end of the year. I kind of for whatever reason I wasn't playing. So, but now I'm starting to get more into playing it and everything. And so I've been leveling things that instead of sticking with one person, I've been like you said, leveling like monks, hunters, warlocks.
Well, I mean, that's how I played for a long time until I finally settled on mage. Because
Yeah.
I started trying to play technically in Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Because I think Rift came out at the same time as Cataclysm or similar. So I was playing Rift and I was like, well, I'll give Warcraft a try because I got like a free trial or something. Like something at work I was at gave me something that like gave me the set and like, I don't know, it was like one of those reward points, and like looking on the website, I was like, oh, I can get this. All right.
Sure.
Like, some weird way that I got that, but I thought Rift. I'm going to change that. Rift at that time was the better game, so I just continued to play it. And then Pandaria came out, and I sort of messed around with it.
Yeah.
But then at the end of Mist of Pandaria, they did the Timeless Isle, and you had told me about that. And I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. I can just go here. I can kind of catch up a character. Like it was Timeless Isle was really good.
Yes, and then Blizzard's like, nah.
We don't need to do that again. They sort of kind of did it with BFA at the end there in Nazjatar. Because you can get that Benthic gear.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Something about Timeless Isle just seemed really good. But yeah, so like I spent multiple expansions dabbling, just trying to find a character. Because initially I was like, oh, I should be a druid because you can be range, you can be melee, you can be a tank, you can be a healer. And then it was like, oh, that'd be great if druid didn't suck. And I didn't even hate Malfurion yet. I just didn't like druid. So like I tried like all these different things and then finally settled on mage. And now I don't even touch mage. But so you're just trying to find your new groove.
Sure.
So are you leaning? Because I know you leveled up the warrior.
Yep.
What else have you hit level cap with?
So I leveled up a demon hunter, leveled up a warrior, leveled up a hunter. And that's about all the 60s I have.
And you have 0 renown with either of them because you haven't really gone that far.
So with the hunter and the warrior, I actually got up to like 20 renown.
Okay. Did you just power through the quest line to get the little bit of catch up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did all that. I I don't know. Now I've been playing. So me and you and me are trying to level warlocks. So
Yeah.
we played a little bit with warlocks.
Yeah, but we're taking like
and
warlocks from zero pretty much.
pretty much, yeah. So that could take forever, especially playing with you.
Yes.
So and now I've been dabbling in Brewmaster, which they're just AOE machines. I was actually surprised at how strong they are, because I mean I'll be pulling like 6 or 8 people in a zone and not having any kind of problem.
Now,
I'm still a tank, so it takes a little.
Is this in? So for your monk, is that in Shadowlands or is that older content?
No, yeah, so it's Shadowlands I'm playing. I'm
Yeah.
level 53.
Okay.
I was playing with it last night, and I was in Maldraxxus, and I pulled like at first it was just going to be 6, and then it ended up being like 12 things. It took me a while to kill it because I'm a tank.
Right.
Yeah, I had no problem. I didn't die. Like I couldn't do that with the warrior because I'd die right off the bat. So.
Yeah, my warrior. Now, if I'm arms with warrior and die by the sword is up,
Yeah.
I can use like between that and whirlwind, and then using victory rush or whatever they call it, the one that gives you health back. I can usually do pretty good, but yeah, like the other day, there's a place at Revendreth where there's like a ton of gargoyle stoneborn dudes.
Yeah.
I came around the corner and thought it was like 3, but it was really like 14, and it did not go so good for me. And then my body was dead center in the middle of them, so trying to res without re-pulling them was quite the challenge. It was very irritating.
I have done a lot of suicide dives in Shadowlands. I think more than I have ever done in the game because I'm like, I'd rather just jump off this cliff
Where I can
and
get
then
my body back.
down there. Yes. Then
Now,
die
have you
in the middle
done-
of these.
So in Revendreth, I'm real bad about this over there, is I'll jump. So I use my heroic leap sometimes to engage,
Yeah.
which is dumb because it's one of the things that can save you from falling. But
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll just jump off. And then I realize that my goblin glider is on cooldown.
Yes.
So I'm basically just going to die,
Yes.
like constantly. I went through, because I think you gave me like 70 goblin gliders like 2 weeks ago. And
Yeah.
I've already had to buy more. Like I just, everywhere I go, I'm like, goblin glider.
Sure.
You're like, oh, this staircase, I better glide down that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that's why I like Demon Hunter so much, because it's like Mario with a cape.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just I'm gliding on places where I didn't need to glide, but I just like to glide. So,
I find it a lot of fun. I tried, because I think you did it with me. I got my Demon Hunter through the Maw intro, but then I was just like exhausted. I was like, I can't. This drains the life out of me.
a pro tip: if you want to level really quickly or get a couple levels in the mall, when you're going through that terrible,
Yeah. When you're going through
turn battle.
what Jaina experiences of torment in the mall.
Yes. Turn battle mode on, and unless I just got incredibly lucky, you don't get. If you're a PvP person, you don't care. But if you're not a PvP person, turn battle mode on, and I didn't run across any problems, and I got a few extra levels. Doing that, so.
Well, and I can't imagine, even if you're into whoever's PvPing, I doubt they're in the mall
Yes.
intro. Like, this is it. This is where I'm going to PvP.
Yes.
But yeah, so
I'm
because you
gonna
get like,
ruin everybody's.
yeah, because like our server is like what 15% extra because we're underdogs. So yeah, I had never thought about that because we're doing the thing with the warlocks where you go to the Draenei starting zone to level with war mode on, and you basically there's almost zero chance that you're going to run into the horde.
Well, so the horde has to get out there somehow, because if you want to do that, one, kill all the world ball or kill all the leaders.
Yeah,
For
you got to get.
horde, you have to get out there. I have no idea how you would do it.
I'm sure there's a way, or there's somewhere else that you can kill him. Velen, I think, Prophet Velen.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I think he's inside that spaceship, so you have to be able to.
Yeah, I think he's other places though.
Oh, okay.
I
don't know,
believe. I could be wrong.
only
I mean, I don't.
once, and I did that during Wrath, and I was on the Alliance, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest, but I would assume there's somewhere else that you could get to them. Or, I mean, there's always ways to get to zones that you shouldn't be able to, but why would, like, like,
why are you going to go through all that step just to get a bunch of lobies, you know?
well, and the thing is, like, okay, let's say, like, at least on our server cluster, there's zero reason to be like, all right, we went through, we battled through the fatigue, like, whatever we had to do. There's 2 dudes here. That's it. Because did we even... Wait, we saw one other person while we were leveling.
Yeah. Well,
so,
it's not a very popular zone to begin with.
Right. So there's, like, zero reason to go there. Now, maybe on, like, Storm Rage or something where it's, like, all Alliance all the time and you were really looking to beat up on low-level players. That might be worth doing as a horde, but pretty unlikely. But either way... just one tip we will give: if you get to the Kessel Run quest, you gotta turn it in before you log out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been having a lot of fun leveling through old content, and I've never leveled through the Draenei area, so it's a new quest I've never seen before. So
yeah, I mean that is nice because there's so much stuff I have seen that it's nice to. I mean, even though it's the same old, but it's a little bit different scenery to it.
So hopefully, maybe we should do Warlock Watch. Maybe by next year. We'll have
maybe
level 56
episode 300 special. We finally got whatever the next expansion is. We'll finally have the.
Well, I was actually kind of shocked that I was able to play with you on a video game. Last Saturday, I was like, "Wow, this is weird." I playing with Ross again, my buddy.
I'm telling you, there's been I blame mental health from previous jobs. Just makes me super unsocial.
Sure.
Just wrecked me. Like me and my wife were actually talking about that, and I was like, "Yeah, something like what?" So when I worked in insurance, like one of the questions for like some of the health assessments was a lack of interest or joy in doing things that you enjoy kind of thing.
Yes.
And that was basically like a sign of like depression, things like that. And it's like,
sure.
I'd pretty much check that particular box.
Sure.
Like, I kind of want to do this, but not bad enough to actually do it, even though I'd enjoy it. I'll just go lay down. So
I'll go lay down, take a nap.
Yes, my sleep schedule is wrecked just in general too right now. So, past Warcraft, I have been playing the new game Valheim.
Yeah.
And I'm making a note here real quick. So it is one of those like open world survival sandboxy games. There is an online co-op. It is. So I'm looking. I didn't know that this is the publisher, but Coffee Stain Publishing is the publisher. The developer is Iron Gate AB. So it's a Viking game, basically. But it's that like Minecrafty Conan Exiles kind of deal, where you gotta like mine resources like wood, trees, iron, rocks, flint, all that different stuff. Kill animals like deer, boar, things like that for food, for leather, craft weapons. So it's got like you can punch stuff, so you get like your bare hand skill up. You can make a knife, you can make an axe, you can make like a hoe for like flattening the ground basically. Bow and arrow. There's stealth. So and it kind of uses like in Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, whichever way you look at it. A lot of times like just running around, like you'll get a running skill, let's say. So Valheim kind of does that. So running, your running level goes up. Swimming.
So let me ask you a question, and then this will determine whether I ever play this or not. So, when you're playing, you play on a server?
Currently, I'm just doing like a single player thing. There is a way to do like your own server, because you can do like online co-op with it.
But can you just like Conan Exiles, for example? Like you can go on one of their servers,
right?
And just build. Basically, you can explore, but you're seeing other people's buildings and stuff. Can you do that in this game?
I am not sure. Like, I know what you're saying. I'm looking at the feature because I've just been playing it normal.
I want to live in. I want to play in a universe where other people are playing.
Yeah.
But I don't want to interact with them. I just want to see their buildings,
right?
Building stuff, and I want them to look at my buildings. And stuff.
It looks like the co-op PvE server stuff is basically one you would make because it's only 2 to 10 players. Okay. Valheim supports independent player-hosted servers. So it's basically, it would be like people you know. So you're not going to be on a server with like another group of people, it sounds like. Now, granted, it's early access.
Yeah.
So they could potentially, I don't know if I haven't really researched into the game. I've just been playing it enough to know that I've enjoyed it so far. Sure. That might be something they're working on, or maybe they haven't. I'm just kind of misunderstanding the description here. But because you can set up like your own server, basically host, and like give it a password or whatever, and then people can play on it. But yeah, so it doesn't, unless it was like you went to one side of the map and I went to the other. Like you're not going to come across like where Conan, like the one people made like the entire storefront on the river. Like you're not just going to come across random stuff like that, I don't think.
Okay.
But
because I mean that's one thing I enjoyed about Conan Exiles, because at the beginning of the pandemic, I remember because I was off work and I was playing a lot of Conan Exiles, and I was having that land war. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That land war with the other people where they were trying to hone in on our territory, and I don't know. It made a fun little game within a game.
Right. Well, because it was a PvE server, but it was still trying to outmaneuver the person and get their stuff in a very different way.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't. As it is right now, I do not believe that this has this. But it does have a feature that Conan didn't have, and that is where if you log off, your stuff's still there when you come back the next time.
Now, to be fair, Conan Exiles had that too. If you just did one player,
yes,
yes,
sometimes. Now the thing is, you could still on single player just lose your body, but you had admin control, so you could just replace it. But now this one, so one of the things that cracked me up. So the other day, I was playing. So I haven't played this a ton. But just enough to see if I can kind of get into it. The building feels a little bit weird to me, but I'm so familiar with like the Conan Exiles Arc style building that something being like I'm comfortable with that. Change is difficult. My camp flooded basically, so I was saying like you can take like the hoe that you make, like the garden hoe, and you can like level out your ground or raise it, whatever. I was kind of in a recessed area on top of a hill. Well, I didn't even realize that it rained in the game because I hadn't experienced that yet. But I had a thunderstorm that lasted an entire day, and all of a sudden my character's swimming on his bed. And I was like, what? And I realized like everything had flooded. So campfires are put out, all that stuff. And I was like, well, I guess I really do need to kind of raise the ground around here. So that was kind of neat though, just because it was fairly unexpected. But yeah, it's like build your weapons. Arrow, like bow and arrow, feels strong in this game. So you can like it's viable to use. Most games like this, ranged weapons are always super ineffective. It feels like. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, we need to make this better, and then it's like, oh, it's too good. Well, let's make it worthless again. And then you can also build like boats and rafts in this to sail around. So, and then let's see. One of the other things is so I don't think resources, like once you cut down a tree, I don't think it respawns. Like I think it's just gone. But you can get like seeds for trees and stuff. Like you'll get seeds and stuff that you can plant. Now I think like mobs and like animals respawn, Again,
Yeah.
I haven't researched it. I'm just going from the little bit that I've played. And trees could be on just like a very long respawn timer. But like you can capture boar and put them in a pen. Once you have enough of them, they'll actually reproduce. So you can have like a source of stuff like that. I don't know if you can do it with the deer yet, but yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty good. Like, so my original intent was to play it a little bit, maybe refund it if I didn't like it. But I have definitely played past the refund point. So, and it's still like there's more they can add since it's the early release, but it feels like a complete game at this point. Like I haven't ran into any like game breaking bugs where I'm like, oh, that really sucks. Like everything's pretty much worked how I would expect it to, other than you know, like I want the building system to be something I'm familiar with, but I imagine once I learn it, it'll be okay.
So looking at screenshots here, it looks very cartoonish.
It is. It's not like super realistic, but it's not. They went with like kind of like the voxel style graphic, but they're not like big. Like they're smaller voxels. So yeah, but I don't know. It runs really good on my system at least. Like now there'll occasionally be like a flicker where it's loading stuff, depending on like how far you're going around. So that's really the only annoyance I've had. It does give a benefit too of if you end up playing like multiple characters for some reason, or just like want to start over, the world is procedurally generated, so you'll get a slightly different layout each time.
Okay.
So I've restarted like once just to see the difference, and you always start in like the same little, like the starting area is basically like a circle that's always going to be the same, but like immediately around me was very different from one game to the next. Now you're still going to have like kind of like your zones. There's like a black forest and stuff that are always going to be kind of nearby. But like lay of the land and that kind of stuff was different. Like like there were more berries, more rocks on my second game that were close by, and then like some of the other resources I had to go further to find. So, but yeah, from the screenshot, it looks like you can get pretty in depth with some of the weapons. Like the guy's got like a glowing bow. The craziest thing I've made so far is like fire arrows. Like that's super basic, but you can shoot stuff and it wrecks the mob so far. But I'm not super far into it, just enough to get a feel for if it's worth putting the time into. So, but yeah, I would say if you're into this style game at all, it's worth at least checking out for, basically you can play 2 hours with Steam and then refund it if you don't like it. I'd say like after an hour of messing around, you'd have a pretty good idea if it's something you might be interested in playing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I may check it out.
All right. You want to hit wrestling real quick and then wrap it up?
Yeah, like real quick.
All right.
Why did Britt take her shoe off to eat that sandwich?
All right. So mostly Dynamite. Lightning round here. Darby against Joey Janela. I hate Joey Janela for some reason. Hate's a strong word, but I just can't get into Joey Janela. Like, he's not been portrayed as anything to me.
And again, disclaimer. When we say we hate something, we don't hate the person because we don't know the person in real life. We hate the characters.
Oh. I've seen video of Joey Janela. No, I hate that dude. No, not really. Not really. Yeah. Like, just his overall presentation doesn't currently make me care. So, like, I'm glad Darby won, basically.
He reminds me of Lionheart Chris Jericho, but crappier. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, because the reality, like, Joey Janela is not a bad wrestler at all. Like, he's actually pretty good, but there's just something that doesn't click for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still in that, like, it wouldn't take much for him to win me over, but I don't know what it would have to be that would have that happen. So, let's see. Yeah, like Moxley has a promo with Kenta. Not really going to touch on that too much. MJF and Sammy. So I guess we're like at the boiling over point finally, where
I mean, to go back to the Moxley thing, I was surprised that the IWGP United States Championship was shown on AEW.
Yeah, like, and he was actually recognized as it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, that's something.
Well, I mean, they let him have the, what's his face? Have the AEW title at the One Wrestle Kingdom show, Jericho.
Sure.
So, could be payback for. Well, I mean, obviously, if Kenta's going to be wrestling on AEW, like, New Japan 100% exists now. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it wasn't it doesn't seem to me this is going to be a one-off with Kenta. It seems like they actually do have a partnership.
Yeah, where they're going to do some stuff.
They mentioned the Bullet Club. They mentioned all this stuff. So, yeah. It makes me more excited. But
yeah, it's something you would never have thought would happen is actually happening. It feels super weird. But yeah, so the MJF thing, basically, like, the end result is Sammy breaks MJF's phone and then punches him in the ribs, which apparently Sammy has one mean body shot, is what it seems. We get, there's Cody and Lee Johnson against Peter Avalon and his Cesar Bonani, his muscle dude, I guess. The interesting thing to me out of this one was they showed Arn Anderson's son at ringside.
Yeah.
Which Arn's mentioned on his podcast that his son is training to be a wrestler, but he doesn't really he doesn't talk about it hardly at all. Like, it comes up once in a great while, but he's pretty secretive about it. So that is making me think that Arn's son is close to doing something.
Yeah.
And the commentary pointed it out, but yeah, he definitely looks like Arn. Like,
yeah, he looks like Arn or Ollie. It's weird.
Like, there's no denying that he's related to Arn, though. Like, it'd be hard for him to be like, that's not my boy. Like, are you sure? Because he came out with a comb over. So,
yeah.
I mean, he has a little bit more hair than Arn, but
joining FTR would be good, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that'd be the way to go. But, I mean, I think we're in the group that really wants some kind of Horseman type group with those guys.
And it's funny because I really didn't like the Horseman when I was watching it back in WCW.
Yeah.
But,
well, you also got, like, not the real Horseman experience at, like, the later end. Not that Dean Malenko and Benoit and Mongo aren't Horsemen, but quite a drop off. Well, Malenko and Benoit are fine, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So 3 of the Horsemen were fine. You're just one of the Horsemen you needed to take out and put somebody else in.
Right. But I mean, Death is going to compare to like Arn, Tully, and Rick, and then whether it's Wyndham or whoever else. But yes, there's that. What's his name? Lee Johnson gets his contract and first win apparently after this match. So good for him. That guy's been killing it on Dark for a while. So, what do we got here? The Good Brothers. Good Lord. Like, the Good Brothers are exactly like, if they're trying to portray like the old friend who hasn't moved on from like high school or whatever, they're nailing it.
So they kind of remind me of a mix between Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and like DX, Shawn, and Triple H, the good version.
Yeah.
They're just goofy. I mean, they're just like, they cracked me up. They're like, "Can I get a 2 sweet? Where's Stinger at? He used to be part of the Wolf Pack." I mean, stuff like that just cracks me up. So. Yeah,
it's. I mean, it's obvious they're. I hope that I don't know. I've listened to their Talking Shop stuff a couple times. That might be how they are 100% of the time. It's very possible, but like something is happening.
Go on. Carl no wait. So what's her names again?
Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows.
The Doc Gallows. Go on his Instagram. His Instagram is crazy. It's like
just all over the place.
Rednecks. You just gotta watch it. Some of the stuff he puts on there, I'm like, what in the world, dude?
I mean, I believe he seems like it's weird that he was Festus.
Sure,
Like,
he's a very colorful person. I mean, I think they're getting their money's worth out of him. So
right. Well, I mean, there's going to be people who love it. Like, I'm more on the side of like, these dudes are making me cringe, but that's what they're intended to do for some people. So it's fine.
Yeah.
But so somehow out of this, the Bucks are going to go against Santana and Ortiz for the titles next week. So I'm wondering, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. Are they going to cost the Bucks the titles, and then we're going to get the Bucks going for the Impact titles at Revolution?
That would be cool.
And Santana and Ortiz get the titles.
I want Proud and Powerful to actually win it because
Yes.
I like Proud and Powerful. So
well, I mean, we'll get more to that, like, because towards the end of the show, Inner Circle shenanigans happen.
yeah.
So Hangman Page is interrupted by Matt Hardy, but they're going to go to the bar. So
Yes.
there is a brief thing where the Dark Order see Hangman again,
Yes.
but it's a very awkward thing. So we
Yes.
get not Dolph Ziggler against the Bastard.
Yeah.
Did you see? So for Ryan Nemeth here, did you see where Dolph changed his profile picture to Ryan's face when he was in the Brutalizer?
No.
He basically put new profile picture and then put like the weird face that Ryan was making when he was in the Brutalizer. Which apparently Ryan changed his profile picture to some ridiculous Dolph Ziggler thing that he found. So
Sure.
let's see. There was like basically they're talking to Miro about how angry he is over best friends being the bad guys and ruining the wedding.
Yeah.
Psycho. I'm starting to dig Miro. They're ironing out the character to where he's still a little bit goofy, but he's clearly dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm digging it. I was definitely in the camp that was worried.
It's definitely been a slow build because that's what AEW likes to do.
Yes.
So,
Well, I think it was you might have told me about it, but there was like one of the interviews with Tony Khan, and they were asking him like, "Well, what's going on with Miro?" And he's like, "Well, the thing is, we didn't get Miro at WrestleMania coming out on a tank. We got Miro beat up week after week in a weird love wedding thing.
yeah.
Like, there's got to be some build to fix that or something."
Sure. Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So, which I mean it is fair, like, because if you don't know Miro at all, well, or very casual, be like, well, this guy's nothing. Like, why would they make him a big deal? Like, he wasn't in a position theoretically for that. So
I'm all for Miro taking out the best friends. He already took out one of them. Let's take out the other one. And,
what about can you leave Orange? Like, is Orange okay? You just want him to get rid of Chuck?
no, to take out Orange too.
Just
I've
guilt by
never
association.
I've never really been an Orange cat. I mean, he's all right. He's entertaining sometimes, but take him out too. Just,
Because he allied himself
associated
with the
best
wrong
friends.
team.
Yes, he's associated with the best.
You got to pay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, MJF comes out all taped up. He's telling Chris about Sammy sucker punching him, but they go out for the match. Even commentary is like giving MJF crap, like questioning if he's really hurt. I think at one point Shivani was like, "You know what? They should probably just keep kicking him in the ribs to make sure they're hurt or not."
Yeah. The Acclaimed, I mean, they're okay.
They're growing on me.
No.
I'm okay. Like, I mean, I've seen the rap entrance before with like Cena back in the day, but they do a good job of it. The guy that can't rap doesn't, so that's good.
Sure.
Like, they just let him get on and like say like his short little line and be done with it.
Sure.
But like Acclaimed is good in the ring, I think. They'll get better. Like, I mean, they're not a natural tag team with each other, so they're still, like, kind of melding. But, like, their gear's the same color.
Sure.
So they've embraced.
There's a lot of pluses with them.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, promo-wise, I think you're going to get something good out of them. Ring-wise, like, they're entertaining to watch. So, I mean, I don't root for them, but it's fun to see them, like, go from, like, being on Dark to getting, like, an actual kind of team and a little bit of a shove. So we'll see. I
mean, it doesn't take much for me to like you. I mean, because I was kind of digging Chronic there for a little bit.
I don't know how.
Well, I mean, sorry, it doesn't take much because they match. They
looked like they operated like a team.
Yes, so it doesn't take much for me to root for you as a tag team. So
right, yeah. So these guys should be okay. Like, yeah. But so Sammy they beat Acclaimed, which I was actually surprised. I thought Acclaimed might pull it off because of MJF, or I was waiting for Sammy to interfere somehow. Sammy comes out and he basically quits the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
So there's like that brief moment where MJF smiles, which I think Santana Ortiz like mentioned on Twitter or something, that they saw it. But I'm wondering, like, I wonder where it goes from here. Like, is MJF like just trying to implode the Inner Circle and then he's going to do his own thing? Or is he going to take like Santana and Ortiz and Wardlow and do, like, I'm just curious. Because you would think...
It definitely seems like Jericho wants to do his own thing.
Yeah. Well, or Jericho and Sammy are kind of... Like, they turn on Chris. Sammy comes out to help him. They beat up Sammy and Chris. And then they kind of go from there.
Sure.
Like, something's going to happen. But I think ultimately it makes MJF built up more. Because, I mean, he's like 12. So you got plenty of time. Like, him and Brody Lee Jr. are going to be wrestling when we're dead. So...
Sure.
So that's pretty big. Someone was saying, this seems like out there, but what if MJF was just trying to destroy the Inner Circle just to get rid of them, and he was going to join FTR?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could see that. He would fit in with their mentality.
I thought they were going to go with that route with MJF anyway, put them with FTR.
Yep. And then you add in Arn Anderson Jr.
That's what I'm saying. He fits that category of just slimy.
Yeah.
And that's what FTR kind of is. So.
Right. Well, like, FTR is a little more, like, forward with it, but he would definitely be on, like, the slimy Tully side.
Sure.
Yeah. We get Hardy Hangman. Hangman pulls the switcheroo with the contract that Matt was trying to get him to sign. I'm super curious to see what that contract that Paige had is.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be something ridiculous. Or it's going to be like Hangman finally gets his new lawnmower.
Sure.
Like, just something totally dumb. So we'll see. I feel like it's going to lead to Matt and Private Party beating up Hangman and then Dark Order rescuing him. I'm still holding out hope that Dark Order is the end game for him to, like, be aligned with them in some capacity.
Sure.
So we almost get a Sting promo.
Sure.
But then they decide Team Taz has kidnapped Darby and just drags him in a body bag.
Yes.
One day there's going to be a story that, like, well, we pitched this idea to Darby and he said no. And then we'll have to figure out what did he say no to.
Actually, I can actually see his idea was like, all right, I want you to wrap the chain around my body and drag me to the parking lot. And Tony Khan's like, no, we're not doing that because that's a lawsuit.
Yes.
Fine. Put me in a body bag then.
Put me in a body bag. Well, we can do it safe. Put me in the body bag. We'll put, like, a big leather thing under me so I don't get, like, all tore up. And
I want the body bag to be lit on fire. I should pull that.
like, no, we're not actually going to kill you, Darby.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what you want, but that's not what we're doing here.
Yes.
But no, I thought that was a pretty. It was good, but it made me laugh at the same time because it's like, of course they would. Like, Taz is that guy, or Team Taz is like the person where it's like you're playing a game. It's like them and a little kid. The little kid cheats, and it's like, oh, you want to play like that? So they just punch the little kid. Like,
Sure.
they're like, your escalation is a little more extreme than is called for.
Yeah. Did you see where Miley Cyrus was wearing an FTW outfit?
I saw something about that, and I don't know what it was. That during the Super Bowl halftime.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I saw where Taz was like, I sent her a hat, but it didn't fit apparently.
Yeah. I don't know why she was wearing that.
I'm sure it's some abbreviation for a song or something, or for the women, or like I'm sure it's something totally different. But
yeah, for bad music that she plays. But anyway,
dude, Party in the USA was sweet. I don't care. With Layla Hurst and Thunder Rosa, their match was okay. It was a little bit of sloppiness here and there.
yeah,
But I mean, it was compared to what we were getting at one time for the women's matches. This being a slightly sloppy match was still so much better than some of the older stuff.
Okay.
So with that perspective, I was fine. I mean, Thunder Rosa's pretty good. Layla Hirsch seems to be good. Just off night maybe. So we got, I think, I might be wrong, this might be the second Tony Schiavone interview of all time that did not get interrupted with Jungle Boy. I was not a fan of the interview though. Like, I just didn't. I didn't feel it from Jungle Boy.
No,
And it could, like, because he was a very like even keel talking, and I feel like to me his character's not filled out enough that I like. Oh, that's his style. Like, it just felt like someone like, this is what I'm gonna say, and then saying it.
I think he's gonna fall in the trap, and I could be wrong. He could get better, but being good in the ring and then just totally sucking at promos.
Yeah,
He's like, there's like no emotion. It's just very dry every time.
right. Well, and it could be that that's what he was going for, where he was just speaking very matter of factly, but we haven't seen a ton of him talking.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he normally all fired up when he talks? Because I've listened to a couple like podcasts that he was on, and that's kind of how he is. He seems like a pretty level-headed dude, but
Sure.
I don't know. I need to see more of him doing promos, because as it is right now, it's like, whatever. Like, he didn't say anything that was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, it was just real straightforward, but it didn't really, like, I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm pumped for this. Like,
Sure.
FTR, Moxley, some of those guys, they like Kingston, they do a promo. It's like, I don't even think I care about Eddie Kingston fighting the Popcorn Boy, but man, he made me want to see it. Like,
Sure.
like, I don't know how, but all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure that Popcorn Boy is going to kick Eddie Kingston's butt.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a promo like, you made me really mad, and now I'm going to take you out.
Right. Well, and you don't have any basis for, is this high? Is this low from him? Like, is he usually screaming like the Ultimate Warrior? And he's so angry that he doesn't even have emotion anymore? Like,
I'm going to shake the pillars of heaven, and I'm going to bring down
so the main event, what a crazy match. You got AEW champion, you have IWGP US champion, and Impact tag champions. Or not, sorry, they weren't in the match, but they kind of show up. But in the whole thing, like, you have 3 federations involved, basically, by the end of it. What craziness. Pretty crazy match. I think I mentioned this to you, where, like, I had forgot about Kenta, like, actually being good in the ring.
Yeah.
So, which is always a benefit. Like, oh, this is a big deal, and this guy actually wrestles good. So,
Sure.
because when he was Hideo Itami, he had some injuries, and he just didn't get to do what he can do. It didn't feel like to me. So I kind of forgot. And then once he's in Japan, like, I'm not following that super closely, so I'm not seeing it. I mean, what do you think of it? Like, were you entertained by the whole thing, or?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it was it was a lights out match or no disqualification, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, lights out or whatever.
So I just expected them going around and beating the crap out of them with potatoes and.
The potatoes things made me laugh, just because they like. I'm going to assume that the Good Brothers had a hand in suggesting that. Like, out of everyone involved, it was that or Moxley and Omega. We're just like, what'd be really funny to do in the kitchen?
If the Good Brothers had a hand in it, I want to say it probably would have been like hot dogs or something.
Well, the potatoes represent male testicles.
It would be something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that potato is a term for getting stiffed is great. But yeah, I just like, I don't know. Like, I was pretty entertained by it, and the fact that they were like, it was violent overall, so a little bit of funny wasn't bad. But Good Brothers get involved. Moxley gets hit with the go to sleep. For whatever reason, the stupid Magic Killer. God, I hate that move so much. It's so bad. Like, it's such a bad move.
No.
Like, the only thing that would make the Magic Killer worse is if Luchasaurus and Joey Janela did it.
Sure.
But yeah, so then they help Omega get Archer up for the One Wing Angel, which I'm pretty sure he can do that to Lance Archer on his own.
Yeah.
I'm assuming just because he's a bad guy that they did it that way.
Well, they're just trying to make Archer look like a bigger
right.
threat.
Well, and Omega's supposed to be a bad guy, so he's not supposed to be better. But I'm almost certain he could do it on his own. But
it's weird to see Jake the Snake in a role of somewhat good guy.
Yeah, it's real strange. He got the short arm clothesline in.
Yeah.
Omega
I was
looked.
waiting for the DDT. I was like, "You gonna do the DDT?" I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, I'm thinking he can't take like a DDT back bump though. Is my guess.
Yeah.
They might figure out a way to do it one day. Because people want to see it one last time, but probably not healthy for him. But yeah, so bad guys win. Not too surprised there, but I mean, it's pretty much like official that there is a alliance. I mean, it's been official, but like seeing it in action where Kenta's in a legitimate match on AEW with Impact Wrestling guys showing up. It's crazy.
This is just me hoping. I think we're gonna get the Bullet Club eventually interfering with Omega and the Good Brothers.
Yeah, and like they'll feud with that.
A war with them.
I mean, there's something's got to happen. Like, I just don't know because they're like, I feel like Tony Khan's side with Bucks and Omega and everybody from a creativity standpoint.
Yeah.
Like they're still fans, so they know what kind of like what people want.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be, I would assume, a good payoff somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
Even if it takes a while to get to it, like, because the one thing that WWE got criticized for a lot is like when they bought WCW, they kind of just fast tracked that and just they had one of the biggest things you could ever do, and it was so lackluster. I'm going to assume that they're not going to rush anything with this.
Yeah.
And try to actually get like the best they can out of it.
Well, because I kept on hoping during that whole feud I was like, okay, now what will really make this like a Sting or DDP or somebody showed, one of them showed up, but they had a bunch of jobbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not going to.
Yeah, it's like none of these people matter. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have quite the same problem with this.
No.
I just want Okada now. I don't know who I want to see Okada fight, but
Yeah.
that'd be the ultimate thing. Although that might be like the long-term final boss kind of deal. But
Sure.
all right, well, we'll call it there. Tune in next week, and we'll be back.
Hopefully, if Ross doesn't mess us up.
Yeah, or you'll be getting like a super old episode. So
I'm putting it all on your shoulders, so it's your fault.
That's
I'm
fine.
being the heel this week.
That's fine. I have a strong back, so. All right, later, everybody.
Oh, and go to the Twitters and the Instagram and the Facebooks.
Yeah, basically, or the website, agonyofpositivity.com. What do we want to do? Oh, here we go.
I'm in control here, and you're gonna give me what I want.
Little Batista. We'll end it with that. The end.